Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler, and today's video is going to be covering the developer update that just dropped today. So, a couple of things here. I do sound sick because I do have a sinus throat thing going on. So, just bear with me. It is making my throat very dry, which means I'm coughing and the rest of it. So, hopefully you guys don't mind, and hopefully I'm better in a couple of days because it's going to suck streaming like this. So, without further ado, let's get into the developer update. Last week, we saw both the release of the first trailer for Season 1 and the full patch notes for Season 1 update. The next patch will be available to download on Tuesday, March 26th, and you can read our full patch notes here. Basically, there's a lot that's being changed or fixed or quality of life improvement. It is a huge patch, and it's very exciting to kind of get that patch tomorrow for many different reasons, right? And I think Jay kind of summarized it very well today in his video. And basically, this patch is the kind of do or die moment, right? This is the big thing for the game. If this patch comes out tomorrow and it does well, not to say everybody's going to come back to the game or that everybody who didn't buy the game is now going to buy it, right? Because I don't think that's going to happen. But what it does is show that there is a foundation that's being built here, right? Because for the last 8 weeks, we've seen the foundation of this game be very crumbly, right? It is very brittle. And because of that, it's very hard to kind of stand on this game and be very supportive of it because you don't know if the floor is going to fall out from under you. But if, for example, tomorrow the patch comes out and it fixes everything it says it fixes and no more issues happen, then you can start being very supportive of the game because the foundation is now solid. And then it puts you in a good spot for Thursday and then the Joker and the rest of that content, right? And now it's not to say that the Joker is going to bring everybody in as well or that content's going to be great. But what I think it has to show is that there is incremental improvements being made from Season 0 to Season 1, and then obviously Season 1 to Season 2, and that there are things being learned here, right? And the unfortunate thing about a live service game is that, yes, you can learn from the other games in the industry that are doing this, but a lot of it too is learning how these things work. It's different than just putting out a single player game, maybe a couple patches, and then moving on. These things are different beasts of their own, and a part of that beast is learning how it works over the course of the life cycle of that game, right? So it does mean that Season 1 may not be perfect, but it has to show improvement across many different facets of the game. If it does, and it shows that they are taking in feedback and improving things upon that feedback, then I think for at least the people who are here and they're playing and they're getting excited, then it shows that there is momentum here, and it really does mean that hopefully things can continue in a positive direction. But we have to start with tomorrow and that patch. And it sounds like from at least what they've said, there is a lot of positivity around that patch. And one of the biggest positive signs of that patch is fixing the mastery progression issue. This has been one of the biggest issues and impacting myself. And they did say that they pushed a backend fix earlier this week, and it did fix it for me at least. Then they go on to talk about that they fixed some achievement issues, some login multiplayer and load time issues, and just basically kind of saying that we fixed this for most people, but if you're still having issues, we will fix this for you. So it does seem like they have a good idea and a good hold on what's been happening, and they're able to fix it. And it does seem like they are pretty confident that this is going to fix it for a significant number of players. So let's talk about the changes now. So basically, Brainiac is going to be taking more damage. I know a lot of people were talking about the damage to Brainiac, especially as you climbed higher in the mastery levels, and it seemed like you were having to do a lot of work for very little reward. So they have made that fight a little easier, and you're able to do it just a little bit more damage. So hopefully this will make sure that the fight is just a little bit quicker for everyone doing it. So obviously, you know, let them know if this isn't the case or what have you, but at least on their end, they think this will make the fight a little bit more snappier. Obviously, next we have more HUD customization. You're able to remove your health and shield bars, XP bar, mission objective, and more. This was a big topic of conversation before the game came out, and obviously now they're improving upon it and adding more things. More options is always a good thing, so kudos to the team. Update to the sniper enemies. Sniper enemies can be annoying, doesn't matter what game it is, but they teleport. They're going to teleport less now, and they're able to kind of, you know, not detect you so far away and teleport away. You're able to get closer to them now. So there is some changes coming to those, which should improve that experience as well. They also reduced the mastery level requirement to get into the end game. That's a big thing, just allows players to get in there more and get in there faster. So that's a good change as well. I don't think there are any bad changes in this whatsoever. These are all good good changes, and they're all player benefiting changes, which is always a good thing. So it always sucks to see a change that kind of, doesn't benefit players. But these changes right here, I don't think anyone's really going to argue with whatsoever. So kudos to the team. We have the new status effect Poisoned, which is a high risk, high reward kind of status effect. Basically, the way it works is it will deal damage to enemies over time and reduce the amount of damage that they deal. But part of that, though, is that once they're poisoned, they are going to give less shield when they're harvested. So you do have to keep that in mind when you use the new status effect starting on Thursday. Now, we do have some weapons here, and I'm not the biggest weapon expert. I'm not going to tell you guys what's good or what's not. Not my forte, not the way I roll. But what I will say, though, as I can speak to the broad terms of a looter, because I've played many of them, is that the more weapons and choice you have, the better your kind of loot economy is going to be. For example, it always is rough at the start when you launch a looter game because there is an amount of, the loot you can pick from isn't the biggest amount. The perks that you have isn't the biggest amount. And because of that, a lot of it can feel very, cookie cutter, and you just kind of swap out one piece and for something else everyone else is using. And it really does feel like there isn't a lot of choice there. But what happens over time is that more pieces are introduced, more perks are introduced, more choices introduced, and because of that, you have so many more build opportunities to make, right? And within these three options here, which are just three of many options that are coming to the game, what it does mean is that there are more ways to kind of, make your build your own. Of course, there is always going to be a meta, and they're always going to be the top tier thing that everyone is going to use for the most part, but I think when you start introducing more pieces and more things you can do and swap in and swap out and just kind of customize to your highest degree, then it really starts to feel like what you're chasing really does matter. But I think part of that too is the understanding that live service games aren't just living for the players, but they're living for the devs too. And part of that is actually taking the lessons learned from the loot you made early on and actually refining that for loot that you make later. For example, I always go back to Avengers for, kind of the way I talk about things. But if you look at the progression of the loot, it actually does get better. And there are actually things that you can see the lessons were learned. And I think what we're going to see with Season 1 is that the loot is actually going to be a lot better. And we're going to see the progression and the knowledge that is being learned here as the seasons, the days, the weeks, the months go on, right? And it's not to say the loot in Season 0 was bad, because I don't think that was the case whatsoever. But regardless, I think what you're going to see is that the quality of the loot, the quality of the perks, and everything is going to get better. And it should give us, the players, more options to pick and choose what we want and make some cool builds. So with that being said, I think there's a lot of good feelings here going into tomorrow, going into Thursday, and we just have to hope that there is so much here that is going to be improved upon and built upon, and it allows us to kind of keep going here with some positive momentum. Like I said, the foundation of the game wasn't solid, and because of that, it can be really hard to stand up on that foundation and say, this game is good, because you don't know if it's going to come out from under you. But if everything goes tomorrow the way it should, then we really get to enjoy this stuff, and we get to enjoy the game as it was meant to be played. So to wrap this one up, we do have new Twitch drops here. Same sort of thing. If you're interested, make sure you watch your favorite streamer play the game, and you'll get your Joker cosmetics. So simple, it's very easy. You'll see that it goes from the 28th of March to the 5th of April. So lots of time there, and it's coming up quite soon. But with that being said, guys, I do feel very hopeful now. I do feel like a weight is off my chest covering this game, because now I can actually play it. And obviously that is a big thing for me to be actually going in there and play the game with you guys. And hopefully you're able to join me as well with multiplayer issues being fixed, or hopefully fixed tomorrow. So we'll hopefully get in there and have some fun again. So with that being said, if you guys want more Suicide Squad content, coverage, news, and opinions, and more, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a nice little comment, and I will see you guys next time. As always, enjoy the rest of your day and night. Take care of yourselves. Later, guys.